All right, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And whether you're watching us on the video later or being part of the live audience, we're here today to talk about volunteering and all the value that brings to the community that we all live in. But before I introduce the topic, I do want to take a few minutes to thank WHCP. Obviously, we're in the studios here filming this. Mike Starling works with us tirelessly to get this done, and this and many other programs that we do. Basically, Julie and Jackson has been working with us on the videos, and the rest of the staff here at the station, they've been great in terms of what they do. And it's a great example of volunteerism. Actually, it's a whole volunteer-run organization. These guys, none of them are paid for what they do. They provide a tremendous service to the community through events and activities like this. So again, we're very excited to be here and thanking WHCP. And actually, you'll get to see them a little bit later on one of the videos that we're going to be running that talks about the volunteerism and the not-for-profits in the area that need volunteers. So again, today we're here to talk all about volunteerism. There's a definition from Webster's that I snagged, and you'll get a much better one later, but it's volunteerism is the policy or practice of volunteering one time or talent for charitable education or other worthwhile activities, especially in one's community. And in one's community is kind of the key part here in terms of we want to talk to you guys today about whether you're a volunteer coordinator or you're a person that's looking to volunteer, how important that is and what it means to be a part of your community and get back and get things done, and how you do that. So while I was searching definitions, I also went to look for a definition of what does someone that's driving volunteer to do volunteerism look like, and actually Judy Slaughter's picture showed up. Judy, you want to join us here? Oh, there's Judy. So Judy has been instrumental in pulling this together, and Judy and G and the rest of the team at the Eastern Shore Hospital Center. This is their brainchild. They're pulling this together in the pandemic. They didn't want to have this not happen again this year. So they said, let's figure out how to do this with the technology. So we are bringing this to you via the Facebook and YouTube and any other method you may be watching the video today. So I would like to introduce Judy and give her a chance to talk to us about why volunteering is so important and why this program, and she's putting her volunteer time into making this program happen. So Judy, you want to tell us a little bit about why this is important to you?
Yes. Well, first, I would really like to thank those people that have helped us put this together: WHCP, Mike Starling, Julian Jackson, Bill Christopher from the Chamber. The Banner, our local newspaper, has helped with publicizing it in their weekly newsletter. And just to sum it up very quickly, most people walk in and out of your life. Volunteers leave footprints in your heart. And that's the way we feel at the Eastern Shore Hospital Center. It's also the way the Dorchester Garden Club feels, and the Hansel House feels, and Nikki at the Governor's Office on Service and Volunteerism. We ask people to do things, they're not compensated for it, but they always say that it means so much to them to be able to come to a place on a certain day, on a certain week, at a certain time, and they know what they're doing. So the one thing that I'd like to do is thank everybody that's helped put this on, but also to say to the volunteer coordinators of the various organizations, remember that they're volunteers. Remember that they're there out of the goodness of their heart. They want to be with you. They want to help to do what you do and what your mission and values are. So take a little time to explain to them why you need them, what they're going to be doing, how they're going to be doing it, what time they're going to be doing it, and then take suggestions from them as to what they would like to do. How do they best fit in the organization? Give them a little time to be oriented to the facility or to the organization, and let them have a voice in what they're doing.
Great. Thank you, Judy. Thank you for that. That's great introduction. And again, thank you for all your efforts on behalf of Dorchester County. I know you do lots and lots of things for us throughout the course of the year. So Governor Hogan recognizes the importance of volunteering, so much so that there is actually an office, a governor's office on service and volunteerism. And today we actually have the director of that program, Nikki Fiocco, with us. And Nikki, welcome. Thank you. I know you have a very, very hectic schedule, so we appreciate you taking time out of your day to help the local folks understand what volunteerism means. and from your perspective and what you think from the state. So if you could just give us a quick introduction of your background and how volunteerism became important to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here virtually. This is exciting. I love how we can be in Cambridge when we're not necessarily in Cambridge. So that's exciting. I do have a long service of a long history of volunteerism and service. And I'm really excited to be serving as the director of the governor's office on service and volunteerism, which is actually the Maryland State Service Commission. And what's exciting is there's 52 offices just like ours across the country, and in Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and Guam. And in our office, we focus on service and volunteerism, national service like AmeriCorps, like Vista AmeriCorps, and Senior AmeriCorps. But one of the great things that we get to do is celebrate and highlight and recognize volunteers who are doing exemplary work in their communities throughout Maryland. So that's all the fun parts of my job that I get to do. And it's so fun to be able to connect with volunteers throughout the state that are doing amazing things. And we saw some phenomenal people stepping up during 2020 and the beginnings of 2021, making a big difference in their communities. So how I came to find service and volunteerism was by not even knowing that I was volunteering, because, you know, I'm a proud mom of 2. And so that meant that my days consisted of coaching my kids in soccer or basketball or whatever sport that they were doing, because I was going to be there anyways for practice, so I might as well just be coaching. I was also galvanizing community members to plant native trees and to rethink coastal wetlands. And I didn't even realize that that I was volunteering. I didn't ever associate it with service or volunteerism until I took my service a little further and decided to serve a year in AmeriCorps for Anne Arundel County Recreation and Parks. And that's when I really started to connect and understand the importance of volunteers. And just like Judy said, volunteers leave those footprints. And there are footprints throughout all of the parks within Anne Arundel County Recreation Parks that volunteers and I worked on projects together. And it was just so extraordinary how volunteers showed up every day to do the things, to connect with the communities, to clean the parks, to remove the invasive species. So my service year, my volunteerism actually started without even knowing I was volunteering. It sounds funny, but that's really the start of it.
Cool. It's easy to see it and feel the passion coming through the screen. Even you know, the many miles we're apart going through, the passion come through, which is really good. You heard me give my non-passion definition from Webster's Dictionary earlier on. So how do you define volunteerism? I mean, can you give the group a better definition of what you think volunteerism is and how you recognize it?
Yeah, I think this is an exciting time for volunteerism. There's been a big conversation that has been stirring. You know, I actually didn't even know volunteerism was an industry. And some people don't like to put a connection between industry and volunteerism because we want to think it's altruistic. And ultimately, volunteering can be altruistic, but really it's necessary. Volunteering impacts the bottom line of businesses, it impacts the bottom line of our communities, and it's a way to show civic engagement. It's a way of, just like the way you shop, the way you volunteer in your community and how you show up is how you show up in your life and how you show your values. And I think that volunteerism is at a turning point right now. We're so disconnected in so many ways. And when you can be alongside somebody who is suffering in their community for whatever reason it might be, and you're working alongside with them, you actually intrinsically change. So I think volunteerism is humanity, and it's really, we're a tribal species. We're supposed to be together and connected, and volunteerism is one of those ways that can really, really impact and change people.
I'm going to actually send that into Webster's for it. Great definition in terms of how you describe that. That's awesome. Where do you see it going? I mean, where do you see the future of volunteerism? And then for the coordinators that are on the call, what kind of advice do you have for them as they're thinking about, coming out of the pandemic and where we're going to go? What's your advice for them?
Yeah, also just to hang on Judy's words is involve the volunteers in the service, in the work that they're doing. Traditional volunteerism theory looked like this. How does the silent generation volunteer? What are the boomers going to be doing? They're all retiring. They're all going to need to come back and do volunteering. We're going to rely on them. Oh, those millennials, they're so lazy. And those Gen Xers, they'll never volunteer. And we'll never engage the Gen Zs. That is not how volunteering is anymore. Volunteering is actually global, right? There's opportunities for pro bono volunteers to come into an organization and look at your strategic plan, and to look at your marketing, to look at your communications. So volunteering is going beyond, painting buildings and fixing fences, which is all important and part of community work. But volunteerism now is really more about, like I said, connecting. And we can actually connect globally now and across our country. I mean, if you want to stay within our borders, you can reach out to pro bono organizations that, like I said, are willing to do virtual volunteer work, as well as bringing those volunteers back into your organizations safely and having them involved in maybe the protocol of how they're brought back into the organization and how they are involved with decisions about what volunteers do. Something that I always suggest is, if a volunteer is sticking out to you and really standing out, ask them what they would like to do. If there's something beyond their service that they're doing at this moment, maybe they would like to lead a project rather than being the side of a project, working with a staff member. So really elevating volunteers, because the work can't get done without them. There's just not everybody's going to sign up to coach a 7-year-old soccer team, right? Let's show some love for these volunteers that are out there doing the stuff that's keeping our communities connected and together.
Great. So, as you know, I represent Chamber of Commerce, so I can't get without asking a question about business. So, how does this affect businesses? I mean, what's the impact on the bottom line and volunteerism and businesses that are out there, and what should the business owners be thinking about?
Yeah, I hate that I keep saying I didn't even know about this, and maybe this is the way life is. I look at all the adults out there and I feel like they all have their lives put together, and I'm still learning. But I learned about corporate social responsibility and employee volunteerism about 3 years ago. And that's when I just started to really understand the return on investment in volunteerism. And there are studies after studies after studies that show that if a company, a business, or a small business even has a well put together employee volunteer program, they're going to have better retention. They're going to have employees that are willing to be more work more together. They might even show up for somebody else's shift that calls out sick. They might be more likely to do something like that because they create more empathy. If an organization supports a employee in volunteerism, and I know small organizations, small businesses might not be able to compensate their employees for volunteering, but if that's something that they can at least consider, that employee is going to find so much value to that employer for giving them the opportunity to volunteer for 4 hours a month, or whatever that might look like. And they're going to feel more loyal to the organization because it's more in alignment with that employee's values. I mean, Governor Hogan lets our state employees in the month of October volunteer, I think it's 4 hours for the month. And we get paid for it. So it's a great time to show, his values to the state employees. So I really think that companies, large and small businesses, really need to lean into service. And also businesses, I'm sure they're thinking about this, but You want the community to buy things and buy services from your organization. What are you giving back to the community that you're in? What impact are you making? Because you can also build loyal customers through your service and through your community outreach within the community that you're serving.
Great. So again, lots. I mean, I'm going to take that section. I'm going to copy that, and we're going to put that part on my website to actually get out to our business, because it's huge. It really does help. I mean, that what you just described makes a huge difference for a business, and that the happier the employees are, the better they're going to do for production, and the better your reputation in the community is, which then brings customers in. And it's a win-win. That's an awesome statement. So. And you've touched on this a little bit already, but it's always good to repeat some of this. So I'm going to ask this anyway, because you touched on them, and you may repeat some here, but there are a lot of organizations, and we've got several of them coming up here in a minute in the video, that are vying for volunteers to get them involved. And I know the answer is, as long as people are volunteering, it's great. But how do these volunteer coordinators get the folks they need to make sure they get to accomplish their mission? Or suggestions for how they go about doing that in today's environment, and again, as we're coming out of the pandemic, what any advice you have for them to as because they're competing, and you don't want to talk about competing, but they're competing for the time of these volunteers. So any suggestions on that?
There's several ways, and I'll lean on my experience as a volunteer coordinator many years ago. And, I did everything. I went to the Paneras, and I put the announcements on the bulletin board. I left my cards places. I, created flyers. I did the volunteer match. Volunteer match is an excellent place to post your volunteer opportunities. One of the things that I think that volunteer coordinators should consider when they're recruiting volunteers is what's in it for the volunteer. Like finding out what the volunteer wants to get out of the experience, right? Because some individuals are volunteering because they want to build a network. Somebody might want to be on a board because they want to meet other people that could expand their career. Other individuals who are looking to volunteer might want to share their skill with the organization. Like an accountant might be happy being a volunteer accountant at your organization. But there's also volunteers that are looking to build new skills. That accountant might really want to learn how to be a better moderator or mediator. So having that volunteer come in and training them as a mediator might be something that is beneficial for that volunteer and also your organization, because now you have a trained mediator. And then you might even be able to get him to do some accounting on the side. I'm just saying, it's got to be a win-win for everyone, right? So really understanding what your volunteers want to get out of the volunteer opportunity. And quite frankly, the volunteer might not be a good fit. They might really want to learn a new skill, but you actually just really need somebody to paint this building, and that's the opportunity. But you can also create a connection, even if the volunteer opportunity is just painting a building. You can create a connection between those volunteers and why painting this building is important for the community that you're serving. You might be serving an underserved community, and these individuals might not necessarily respect themselves, and they come into this recreation center, and the paint is chipping off the wall, and the balls are flat, and the floor's kind of dirty, and so they feel like I don't really deserve anything more. And if you can paint the picture to the volunteer about these clients that come in here, the people that you serve, and why having a shiny rec center for these youth that might feel like they don't deserve any better, and those youth walk into a building that's just stunning and gleaming and beautiful, the clients start to change the way that they're thinking, and then the volunteers start to connect with self-worth with painting a wall, which that seems like it doesn't make sense. But if you can bring the image of the client that they're serving, those volunteers are serving, then you can bring out really the best in the volunteers, and you can create intrinsic change in people. So I would say with the volunteer coordinators, all avenues, paper, electronic, but respect those volunteers and find out what they want. Find out what they want.
Awesome. Great answer. So What we're going to do now, I'm going to have you come back here at the end, but what we're going to do now, we're going to cut over and we're going to play some videos from several organizations that we have that wanted to get information out about what they do. And we'll be providing contact information for each of those organizations while the videos are playing. But if at any time you come up with a question during the program or afterwards, you can send an email to info. It's scrolling across the bottom of your screen now, info@dorchesterchamber.org, and we'll route that question to the appropriate people. So, Nikki, thanks, and we'll get you back on here in just a couple seconds after we get past these videos. So, if we can now, let's go ahead and roll those videos.
Hi, I'm Barb Cease, Executive Director here at the Dorchester Center for the Arts.
And I'm Katie Ellis, the Visual Arts Coordinator.
Dorchester Center for the Arts is a cultural arts facility here in downtown Cambridge, and we also serve as the designated Arts Council for Dorchester County. And we're celebrating 50 years of service in the arts. There's lots of volunteer opportunities here, ways to get involved. Katie, would you like to talk about the gallery and gift shop and on-site opportunities?
Yes, the first opportunity would be helping in installing our monthly gallery shows. We also have two different types of docents, one specific to the gift shop and one for special gallery events. We also have the window display, the changing of that, and when we resume in-person second Saturdays, there's also an opportunity to bartend.
That's wonderful. And we're going to be open really, really soon. But then there's also lots of ways to be involved behind the scenes. We have lots of volunteer committees here. If you're the handy type or you're interested in historic preservation, we have a building committee. You can get involved with the activities that go on here by joining the program committee. We have fundraising and grant writing and special event opportunities with the financial development committee. You can assist with exhibitions and selection of artwork, as Katie has said, with the Gallery Gift Shop Committee. Then there is also a volunteer committee where you can help train others who would like to get involved. Whatever your interest, there is something for you here at DCA. So come be a part of the arts.
Hi, I'm Meredith Lathbury-Gerard. I'm the managing attorney for Midshore Pro Bono. Midshore Pro Bono is a local nonprofit, and we provide free and low-cost civil legal services to members of our community. We help with family law, we help with elder law, immigration, consumer debt, and housing issues. And we deliver these services through our network, our fierce network of volunteer attorneys. We actually have quite a few retired attorneys who make up our reliable and formidable force of volunteers. I actually started out as a volunteer for Midshore Pro Bono before I came onto the staff, and I would visit our local senior centers and help folks with their wills and their power of attorney and their advanced medical directive, all those life planning documents that are really necessary to have for the end of life. And I found that my volunteering experience was extraordinary. I was able to help people in a really concrete way, and they were so appreciative to have access to these services. And I got to learn new things and connect with new people who were also service-minded and community-minded like me. Volunteering with Midshore Pro Bono has so many benefits, and we're always looking for more attorneys to join our fierce network. Our volunteer attorneys have access to lots of training, and they can learn new skills, and they also can benefit themselves. It's really beneficial for your mental and your physical health to do something for the community. So I encourage anybody who's interested, if you are an attorney, if you are practicing, if you are retired, please join our volunteer network, and you can give us a call at 410-690-8128 or visit our website and you'll find a volunteer registration there. It's www.midshoreprobono.org. We also have non-attorney volunteer opportunities. We always need folks who can help us with language interpretation, and we're particularly looking for folks who are fluent in Haitian Creole or sign language. So if you're interested in helping us out, we'd love to meet with you. Give us a call, 410-690-8128. You can email us at info@midshoreprobono.org.
Hello, my name is Demira and I'm with Project Read. Did you know that a lack of literacy is an epidemic? 1 out of every 10 adults on the Eastern Shore alone have less than a high school diploma or a GED equivalent. These challenges can affect their ability to earn a living. People with literacy issues have a 3 times higher rate of unemployment. They also have lower quality jobs, which can limit proper access to high quality healthcare, how they interact with their children, or even lead to intergenerational illiteracy. What's worse is it can lead to low self-esteem and isolation. Adult literacy is not just about being able to read. It is about being able to understand what is read and to use that to thrive. With improved literacy skills, adults can be more successful and improve their quality of life. Employers benefit from having more confident workers by increasing production and decreasing the chance of workplace accidents. The community benefits from having literate citizens by having increased spending in the community and less crime. Our solution, Project Read. Project Read is a nonprofit organization that offers free one-on-one tutoring, either face-to-face or now virtually. Adults 17 or older not enrolled in high school can receive assistance with all kinds of basic literacy and employment readiness. Project Read has also assisted adults in studying for assessment tests like the ASVAB, the Praxis, the SAT, GED, or ACT. Project Read relies on the hearts of our volunteers. During this pandemic, many of our clients have had to adjust to a new way of life, and they need you. We're looking for individuals who are willing to give back to their community to help those in need by providing literacy coaching on various subjects to include computer basics to help connect them with families far away or even connect them to families in hospitals, attending telemed appointments or virtual events like this one. Reading and taking medicines per written instructions, filling out forms like job applications and medical forms, or even just to help reading a book for a book club. As a volunteer, you have that opportunity to say that you helped someone. If that is you or someone you know, contact Project Read at 410-749-3612 or email dharvey@wacomico.org. Again, dharvey@wacomico.org. And remember, once you learn to read, you are forever free. Frederick Douglass.
Good morning. I'm Forrest Daniels, Chief Executive Officer of the Eastern Shore Hospital Center. Eastern Shore Hospital Center is among the largest employers here in Dorchester County. We are an 84 licensed hospital facility, which is Joint Commission accredited, as well as certified by the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services. We are, as I mentioned, an 84-bed licensed forensic psychiatric facility, which is very unique here in the county. We want to thank you for making time to support today's volunteer community outreach event. And we know that volunteerism is very, very important to the sustainability and vibrancy of any community. So thank you for making time to support today's event. At Eastern Shore Hospital Center, we currently have auxiliary board, which you'll hear more about, and we want to thank those who are volunteering in that particular capacity. And we also have an opportunity for volunteers to serve in our Citizens Advisory Board. The Citizens Advisory Board is governor-appointed position and requires that there be members, 11 members, to sit on that particular board. You also must be a resident of one of the counties that we serve. Of course, we serve most all counties here on the Eastern Shore, most prominently Wicomico and Anne Arundel counties are the patients that we serve most frequently. But with that in mind, in order to be a board member of the Citizens Advisory Board, you must either be have a commitment to mental health services and also be actively engaged in volunteerism in the communities in some way, shape, or form. Also, we are looking to have at least 2 members per the requirements that you are either a family member or relative of a current or former patient of Eastern Shore Hospital Center. If you have an interest in serving in the Citizens Advisory Board, please contact me directly at 410-221-2411 or by email at forrest.daniels@maryland.gov. And that's Forrest with 2 R's. Again, the number is 410-221-2411 or by email at forrest.daniels@maryland.gov. Thank you again. Stay safe and have a great day.
Hello, my name is Midge Ingersoll. I'm on the Board of Trustees of the Nanticoke Historic Preservation Alliance. I'm thrilled to tell you today about our project called Hansel. The area of the Chacon Creek was a large native village encountered by English explorer John Smith in 1608. Located on the Nanticoke River just above present-day Vienna, this area is considered one of Dorchester County's most historic and cultural sites. In 1665, Thomas Taylor acquired a tract of land which he called Hansel in the heart of the Chacon Indian town and maintained a trading post there with the native people. The original house at Hansel was a large Georgian brick structure built in 1770 by Englishman Henry Steele, a merchant and who married a local-born girl, Anne Billings. There is much evidence that at some point a devastating fire occurred at Hansel, which caused a partial collapse of the structure. The house was rebuilt to its present form in 1837 using the remaining walls of the first house. The house is now listed on the Historic American Building Survey, the State and National Register of Historic Places, and it is located on the John Smith National Water Trail and the Maryland Scenic Byway. The Nanticoke Historic Preservation Alliance, of which I'm affiliated, purchased Hansel in 2009 with plans to preserve it for future study and to teach of the rich history of the native people, colonial settlers, and the African Americans who lived on this site. But the NHAP is an all-volunteer organization. We have no paid employees, and all that we have accomplished in 12 years has been done through the labor, experience, and dedication of our volunteers. That is where the public in Dorchester and surrounding counties can help. There is still much history to uncover about the Hansel property, including more detailed stories of the enslaved community held there and the native people who remained and may have played an additional role. To this end, we need volunteer researchers. Do you enjoy online researching or spending time in libraries like the Maryland Archives? Then we need your help. When Hansel has our 2 living history events every year, we need volunteers to help park and collect entrance fees, to set up tents, work at sales tables. And when school children of Dorchester and other small groups come to visit Hansel by appointment, we need volunteer present to help and docents to help tell the story of Hansel. And finally, we wish to expand our living history interpretations. So if you like to dress up in period clothing and want to learn a native skill from the past or learn a colonial craft, or if you already know one, please join the Hansel family of volunteers. At Hansel, you can immerse yourself in the world of the native people at the Chacon village, cook on an open hearth in the Hansel kitchen, and learn and reflect on the hard truth of an enslaved community who remained into the 20th century on this site as sharecroppers. At Hansel, there is a story and a place for everyone. Contact restorehansel@gmail.com or go to restorehansel.org for more information. And thank you for listening to our mission and our story.
Hi, I'm Bill Christopher, the President and CEO of the Dorchester Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank you for joining us for this very important program on volunteerism. The Chamber is celebrating 100 years this year. We were founded in 1921, and without volunteers, the Chamber just would not exist. Starting with our board of directors. We have 17-member board of directors, all business leaders running their businesses in Dorchester County, and they give freely of their time to make sure that the Chamber is doing everything we can to make this a very vibrant community for businesses and residents to live. So again, starting right with a board, series of volunteers. We have 12 committees that actually do the bulk of the work for the Chamber. A lot of the board members do double duty and serve on the committees, but we also have a large number of community members that serve on those committees to make things happen. Whether it's the Government Affairs Committee, that works tirelessly on behalf of our members, following local government, state, and federal, and taking positions on bills, and making sure that things that are positive are getting pushed forward and things that are negative, we try to to make stops. So the Government Affairs Committee is extremely important to what we do. The Business Development Committee is extremely important in terms of driving activity to bring new businesses to the community and to help protect those businesses that are already here in the community. We have a very strong education committee working closely with Dorchester County Public Schools and other not-for-profits in the community that are doing things to make sure that the workforce that we're developing and putting out is strong. Because without a strong workforce, businesses cannot exist. And without businesses, we can't have a strong community. So that education committee is extremely important. So whether you volunteer for the chamber or one of the many other organizations that are working to support our education system, that's extremely important to the work that we do here in Dorchester County. We also have volunteers that help us out with day-to-day operations in the office, whether it's stuffing our newsletter that we do once a month, 530 pieces of mail that we send out to our members, trying to keep them informed as to what's happening in the community, or just general mailings that we do to get things stuffed and out the door. We have events, and we have committees that put those events together. So whether you like planning and laying out an event, or if you just like serving and helping out at an event, we actually have folks that come to the events, and whether it's doing registration or handing sodas or helping track forms for an auction or serving food. We need volunteers for all those things that we do as it relates to events for the chamber as well. So again, 100 years of being around, volunteers have been what's driven the chamber. Volunteerism is what we need throughout Dorchester County. If you're interested in volunteering with the chamber, you can reach out to us at bill@dorchesterchamber.org or info@dorchesterchamber.org. You can stop by and visit us at 306 High Street, or you can call us at 410-228-3575. Again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you out volunteering in the community.
Hi everybody, Mike Starling here at WHCP Radio, and welcome. We're going to show you what it's like to be one of the volunteers here. Oh, here comes one now. Let me flip this around so we can see him. Oh wow.
Oh,
It's the Birdman.
oh, hello, Mike.
Hey Julian,
Yes.
how's it going, man?
Going all right, you know, just started retrieving some scooters, working on them.
Yeah, so you started here as an intern, right?
Yes, yeah, back when I was in like high school, like
Yeah.
my, I think either senior or junior year, one of those years.
Yeah, so that was what, three years ago now?
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
But now look what you're doing. This
Yeah.
is your bird scooter?
Well, not exactly. I am the fleet manager for Bird, my little franchise. I'm for Cambridge, so yeah, that's what I've been up to, yes. I'm a franchise owner now.
Right. But you started here with us, learning how to do technology stuff, and
Yeah.
that's grown and grown and grown, and now you're like our ace all around jack of all trades.
Yeah, from video to audio, I do it all, you know. Foley, designs, you know,
Yep.
how it is.
Well, listen, who you here for today? What you working on?
Yeah, I'm here helping out the Doors crew today. Marco should be inside or coming in any moment, so
All right.
I gotta go do that.
All right. Oh, hey. You guys aren't started yet, huh?
Not yet.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
So
How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well. So you guys are volunteers that have been here for years reading the Dorchester Banner, right?
We've been reading the banner since about 2019, I think, 2018,
And we-
2019.
Read the Star since 2017.
All right, across the hall here, looks like Bill Wright is in today. Mr. Road Trippin' himself, Mr. Vinyl himself.
Sometimes vinyl.
I see you got some really nice turntables there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but people don't still use vinyl, do they?
All the time, man.
Where could you get vinyl these days, Bill?
Well, you could always go to Groove On Records in Easton.
Oh, do you know something about that place?
Yeah.
You
It's,
happen to run it, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Well, that's just one of the things that worked out nicely for us is you've got one heck of a collection there.
I do.
And you've also got an encyclopedic knowledge of music, which is a perfect fit for being a DJ here at the radio station.
I try to do my best.
How long you been volunteering here?
6 months.
6 months. All right, I think you're past probation. All right, we'll get some more people to come on down. You going to train them since you're an experienced pro?
Sure, I'll do what I can. Yeah.
All right, everybody pitches in. All right, thanks a lot. Have a good show.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
And down the hall here, we come to Studio B, otherwise known as Studio Bruce. Hey, there's Bruce, the man himself.
The myth, the legend, too.
Yeah.
In my own mind.
You were one of our very first volunteers, and you've been doing this, what, 6 years
It'll
now?
be 6 years, July the 6th.
Yeah, you still having fun?
I am, but my chair's not as comfortable these days.
We'll work on that for you, buddy.
There you go. It's a great place to be. It truly is. I mean, every morning I come in here, I let no pandemic bother me. I was in here every morning, doing my thing for everybody and enjoying what we do because, as we once said, we help Cambridge prosper. And it's a great place. It is a great place to be because there's a great family of friends here that work together, make things function smoothly. Sometimes it's insanity behind the scenes, but you don't know it because we have a good time doing what we do, but we have a lot of fun. And it's a great place to hang out.
Come on down and join the group.
That's it. Join us. Love to have you.
All right. Thanks much, Bruce.
All righty.
Okay.
Hi, Judy Slaughter, Executive Director of Volunteer Services of the Eastern Shore Hospital Center. I'm here on behalf of the Eastern Shore Hospital Center Auxiliary. The Auxiliary was established in 1959. It is the longest existing Maryland Department of Health auxiliary. 62 years of helping to reduce the stigma associated with mental illness. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. The mission statement from our 1959 Articles of Incorporation is interesting. A lot of times it appears truncated, but I'm going to read you the entire mission statement. To promote and advance the welfare of the patients of the Eastern Shore Hospital Center through philanthropic and educational activities, policies, and information conducive to better hospital mindfulness and favorable public relations. The A. Thompson Shop volunteer opportunities are working with other volunteers, we have a great group of ladies. Post-COVID, Nancy Duval, Ching Stanton, Linda Wilcox, Jane Parks, again will be staffing the shop from 10 to 2 daily. This could include you. You pick your day and your time, and then you join us that day for lunch in the cafe. And believe me, what goes on in the cafe stays in the cafe. More information on the volunteer opportunities. You will be assisting patients with a selection of nearly new clothing, part of our life skills therapy program. You're helping choose proper attire for maybe a hearing or a placement interview. You would meet with merchandise vendors and select new jewelry and accessories for sale in the shop. Everyone loves to shop, and volunteers receive a 20% discount on all new merchandise. Pricing and merchandising items. Becky Ringgold, Peggy McLaughlin, and Harriet Pritchett have been doing this every Tuesday for years. Then you could do some of the creating of the seasonal merchandise displays and special sales for the shop. Faye Phillips and Karen Cartwright are pros at this. You would help them. We did have, in 2020, during COVID, Fashions on the Farm at Emily's. It was a socially distanced fun and fundraising event at Emily's, a fun event shopping, selling, enjoying delicious pulled pork lunch, and we made money for the patients. We have an annual fashion show, 200 guests seated and served lunch, 15 models, 2 ensembles each taken from the shop, and all the shenanigans you could handle in about 2 hours. Our staff and community members are the models. Wear your tennis shoes because there's a real run to the shop to purchase the designer items. Some of the administrative opportunities: serving on the executive committee of the auxiliary. Betty Wilson is our current president, and Donna Robinson is our treasurer. Assisting in the volunteer services department in planning the fundraising events and therapeutic activities for the benefit of the patients and patient needs. Our annual run walk, the Great Chesapeake Bay Wellness Race, will be hybrid this year during Thanksgiving week. Be thankful for your mental health is the theme, so you could help us cheer the 10K and the 5K participants virtually. The other way that you can help us on the administrative end is sharing your personal education and expertise. Treatment mall activities. We have a full-time art, music, and horticultural therapist. They could use your help with sessions and programs. In horticultural therapy, you could be selecting and planting her herbs and flowers, working with the patients in our greenhouse, and working with plant sales. Music therapy, participating in a sing-along, playing your personal instruments, including your voice, or you could present a concert. If you have a small band, we'd love to have you do a concert with us. Or you could help with refreshments during the performance. In art therapy, you could try your hand at ceramics, pottery, or paint pour. Assist our patients with the process of art. Walking the Labyrinth. This is our newest treatment tool. Join volunteer Sharon Ainsworth as she leads patients' walks every Tuesday. So what is a volunteer? And I love this quote by author Anne Brandt. Volunteers often arrive just when the stress is the greatest, the moment is the bleakest, the work is the hardest, the light in the tunnel is the farthest away. So if you're interested in coming to the Eastern Shore, working with us, you can call me. I'm on 410-221-2358, or Jeannie Bromwell, our coordinator, 410-221-2357. Our emails are judith.slaughter@maryland.gov and jeannie.bromwell@maryland.gov. Thank you.
Great. Hey, those are some great videos. We hope you guys got motivated by seeing those, and you're going to be contacting those folks, and they're going to get a flood of volunteers coming their way over the next week. So let's bring Judy and Nikki back. And so, Nikki, again, great job on the presentation earlier. But is there anything that you want to to emphasize for these folks, or closing comments, things you want them to walk away with today, just to remember?
I would just say that we're at a revolutionizing place right now with volunteerism, and to just be innovative. You really can't break volunteerism, right? Like this is what we do naturally. And, from the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? So encourage others to do things for others. I think he said it way better than I did.
That was good. That was good. We'll go. We have recordings of it. We can put it side by side later and check. But so thank you, Nikki, again for taking time and doing what you do for us and for the state and for all the other things you do in terms of volunteering. We really appreciate that. And Judy, you're going to get final word today. Judy, how would you like to wrap up, and what would you like to say to the group today?
Again, thank you to everyone. But the analogy that I like to use with volunteerism is Noah's Ark. He was 80 years old. Now, he was volunteered, but he still did a great job building the ark. So one of our volunteers, who is 94, called me last week and said, Judy, when can we get back into the shop? When we can get back into the hospital and do our work? She said, I set my week according to my Thursdays at the Eastern Shore Hospital Center Thompson shop. And, she's 80 years old. So one of the quotes that I like to say is, when you're 80 years old, someone may ask you to do something really big.
Awesome. Great way to end the program. So again, folks, thank you for watching. If you have questions that didn't get answered during the course of the show today, send them to info@dorchesterchamber.org. And again, thanks to Judy and her team for putting this together. Thanks to Nikki Fiocco, the director. And we appreciate everybody coming up, and hope that you guys have a great day. Thanks, and have a good one.